Now that we've created our HTML document with our div tag containers and stylized them with the global CSS, we're now ready to add content to our fictitious website. So one of the first things we're going to do is actually go in and create a list. So underneath our nav container, which I'm selecting here, we're going to create a list. And I'm going to do that by going up to the Windows and opening the Properties panel. Once you've got the Properties panel open, you can actually pin this out. So if you click the little arrows down, we get a floating palette. And you can place this down the bottom left hand corner, and then when you need the properties, you can open and close this. And you can add other objects to this and snap them together like in most Adobe products. But we're going to use the unordered list. So the 1, 2, 3 is an ordered list, and unordered list is the dots. So we're going to start with the unordered list. You notice in here, we've got inside our div tag, inside our container here, we actually have an unordered list, and then nav, close the list, etc. So one of the first things we're going to put in here is actually the home. Once we've done that, we're pressing enter, and it's created another little list for us in the code, places to stay. And then the last thing we want on our list is about us. Most navigations start as a bulleted list, and then we can use CSS to actually stylize these. So let's go and do that now. Now you notice that in our code we've got a UL tag, which is an unordered list, and then list items with an LI. So we're going to set up a CSS style that targets list items that live inside a UL tag. Now to do this, all we have to do is go over to make sure our global CSS is selected, click on the plus for our selector, and you notice that we have the nav container, UL, and the LI. And because we're targeting unordered lists inside the nav container, we're going to use the compound tag and press enter. And therefore, this will only apply to the items that live inside this container. So if there's an unordered list inside our content container, this style will not affect that. So the first thing we want to do is head down to text and select the font family to work from. So once again, I'm going to use something that's fairly straightforward and use the Gill Sans. And I'm also going to change the font to be in uppercase. And you notice that the words have automatically changed to uppercase, so I can have it in normal with capital first letters or all in lowercase. So in this case, I'm going to have it all in uppercase. Next, we want to make an inline list. So we're going to head up to display, and we're going to change it from inline to just inline, so it removes the dots. From here, we can then look at the box and go down to the box size and actually make some changes here. We also want to set the box height to 15 pixels. We also want to float it to the right. We may want a margin on the left of about 20 pixels. And this will stop the objects from sitting so close together and giving us a nice little padding between each one. To get a better idea of what it looks like, change it to the live view, and you can actually see that our list now sit nicely at the top. Now the list has actually appeared in the order at which it is shown in code. So you notice that on the right it's the first item, which is home, and then about us is the third item, which is the first item. So simply switch those around by going about us and the last one turning to home. And this will automatically place them in the right order. Now to complete our navigation, what we're going to do is put our links in. So I'm going to select the home word, I'm going to pop out the properties, and in the link I'm actually going to put in index.html. So what this will do is internally link to our files within inside our site. So in this case here, it would link to this index.html. Places to stay, I can actually add a properties to that as well. If I want to go to external links, I go http:// and then the web address. So I can put something like www.lmarsden.com. And this will take you to that website. If you wanted to have an email link rather than about us, so I'll change this to email us. We can actually highlight that, and in the properties we'll just put mail to colon, and then you can put lmarsden@me.com. Then when you click on this link here, it'll actually email where you want it to go. So we've got an internal link, an external link, and an email link. You'll notice that the hrefs appear for those links. So let's see how a website looks in live view. You'll notice that the website's laying out nicely with our navigation on the right hand side, and you can see our rollovers are working, or our hover is giving us the color that we need. So what we've just done then is established our navigation bar using our style set for our rollover, and we're ready to go add more content to our web page.